Hi, my name's Peter Salter. This is my spaceship. It's loosely based on sort of things from sci-fi movies that I've watched over the years. There's not a specific ship. It's got power functions and Lego Mindstorms in it. There's a few different functions. First function is the opening Hangar Bay, which again operates via Mindstorms, and then we've got the turning gun turrets at the front for the sort of mega blasters, if you like, that drop out the front.
I love that. It's such a smooth action there. It's amazing. The fact that you just use the greebling pieces to control everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was a case of trying to hide the buttons because you didn't want obviously big Mindstorms buttons on the outside of it. So by hiding it into these, it works quite well, and you can't really see them very well.
That's fantastic. Now, one thing I noticed here that's interesting is you've kept a lot of the studs exposed, and you see a lot of spaceship builders usually like to cover that up and make it really smooth and sleek. So how did you kind of decide to keep it like that?
Originally, I'd built it all studs. There was none of the sort of tiles on the side of it, and I didn't quite like it. It just looked a bit too plain. But then I sort of started putting tiles on to sort of in a sort of random pattern, and I quite like the look of it. I mean, I sort of considered about building it as a sort of completely smooth model, but I kind of wanted to make sure it was shown as Lego. Yeah. So that's how it ended up.
The tile and stud mixture kind of adds some nice texture to the whole build.
I think it gives it a sort of textured sort of finish to it, as opposed to just being smooth or just being all studs. It's that kind of mix I quite liked.
Now, not only do you have those great kind of moving parts, but the angles this is built at are pretty unique as well, kind of triangles almost. So how did you achieve that?
Again, it's based on a Technic frame. So there's this Technic top and bottom with obviously Technic pieces then angled to match the angle. I mean, I chose the angle to suit the sort of inverted slope pieces. So I spent several nights trying to work out what the best angle was to make sure that those sort of pieces fitted together.
Yeah, and it looks fantastic. So take us through this back section and the spinning rings we have here.
This is actually just power functions. It's actually, if you can remember back to some old Star Wars sets, it's the old Hailfire droid wheels covered with, obviously with just plate, and then it's sort of held together with bits of Technic, and then it just rotates on itself. There's a mechanism inside that just holds it up, and just a simple motor onto the gears, with a little bit of a gearbox to give it the contra rotation.
Does that run pretty smoothly throughout the show for you?
It's been going like that all day, so it seems to be running all right at the moment. I've only had to recharge the batteries once, so it seems to be running okay.
And you've got kind of the bridge command section right here in the middle.
Yeah, there's a bridge section. There's an interesting sort of technique I use there for pickaxes, mounted into the front just to give it that sort of grill effect. But yeah, I was quite pleased with the way it came out. It's kind of give it that sort of ship look. Going back, my father was in the Navy, so there's that sort of bit of a sort of coming back to the old-fashioned Navy ships, which was sort of the way I've added it on. I mean, I've also added the typical Al, and it's 1967, which is my birth year. So
nice little Easter egg there.
Yeah, so there's little things like that which I've added in.
So you have it propped up on kind of a display stand here as well. Does that help keep the whole thing kind of steady on display?
Yeah, I mean it's quite sort of stable. It does wobble a bit. I needed the stand. I hate to get power in for the Mindstorms, and it was just a case of keeping it steady. The stand is actually built to match the size of my coffee table, so it will sit on my coffee table, but it does overhang slightly either end.
What's this like when you bring it to a show in terms of transport and setup?
I mean, it breaks down into three main pieces. The bridge section comes off, and the front section comes off. So it sort of splits into three. And then I've got some custom-built packing cases that I made to carry it around, because I built it and then thought, well, how am I going to transport it around? Because it's such a funny shape, it doesn't sit in a box very easily. So I built some custom cases for it.
Well, it's a really impressive build. I'm glad you were able to bring it out to the show here. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.